So I'm going to figure out this is the paper, transfer it over. That won't be too hard. So basically, what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna put it on this paper. So I'm trying to remember this, but I'm gonna put on my comic book paper, which I purchased. So I'm gonna be able to make my own comic, which is gonna be very fun to do. First comic that I'll be making by this year. I'll be writing it out before I actually fully illustrate the whole thing, but essentially it's kind of like what I did with my original cover previously before this redesign. So there's that. I'm actually using more tones stuff, so yeah, sorry, it's a great piece right there, but yeah, so essentially kind of like how I have this right here, I'm going to be transferring it to this and make that the official new design. I wanted to make them look more tactical rather than, super, like the, I guess, quote unquote, typical superhero. Because, like, people were comparing them to, like, say, Spawn and whatnot. Like, I could see certain aspects of it, but I mean, like, I wouldn't fully agree compared to, say, this original design that I did previously. This was the version. I mean, for me, my character is different. I mean, yeah, Spawn's a dope character and all that, but it's like, I can see the aspects they were saying that look similar, like the cloak over here. And then, the eyes, of course, I mean, it's similar, but you can't say that everybody's. The way masks are designed, really, I mean, they can vary anyways, and they all end up looking similar depending on which pattern you use. And if you use a pattern, it might look really weird, and it might be super hard to draw too. So I wanted to go with a simple pattern. So instead of doing this now, I'm actually going to transfer it to having just this top part. So it's going to be like this then from now on. Because if I cover that, it's going to look different. Because also I want to make this look more, detailed and more dynamic, specifically his mouthpiece that he has. It's right here. So I want to make that look very dynamic. Well, not dynamic, more pronounced to make it appear as if it's coming more outward rather than just being on his face and being flat. So I'm going to fix that actually and make it look more pronounced. Because I feel like the face is really good now, so it has a good amount of, value now. So that's good. And then give me shoulder armor. Shoulder pads too. Kind of wanted to use a light, make it reflective, kind of, dark over here. So if the light's coming from this angle, this angle, you'll see like shadow. It's like, his arm is in front of his, back, of course, but back's the closest thing to the light, so it's going to get hit with somewhat of light and dark and transition to light wherever the light areas are. That's why this is light and transitions to darkness, and this is mostly dark, and this is only a little kind of like shiny because it's like metallic. It's supposed to be, and so are these, so that's why it's also that way. But these appeal more dull because this is like more of not exactly kind of like padding, I suppose you could say that too. But it'll be like tactical padding. So there's that, but it looks darker. It's actually supposed to be like kind of blue. Well, it's gonna be blue, but color tone wise, it's like these are gonna be like bluish. So essentially, he's mostly gonna be consisting of a dark color, but it's gonna have blue areas. Like for instance, this is gonna be blue. His like actual for his mask, like for instance, the rest of his body is gonna be blue, but it's gonna have hints of black too as well. Kind of like what I had for, remember, this original piece. But I like feedback on the comparison for these two when I'm done. That would be great, because I'm gonna do this. Since I already did this one, I'm gonna do my newer version, essentially similar to this, to see not only progress but the amount that my character has changed overall. Because like I added a cape, capes are cool, but it's like, if you're a ninja, I don't think you should really try to wear that much of a cape, if anything. But that's my only thing about it. So, because this is probably gonna be his tactical design, if anything. And I might always end up, because that's another thing, as an artist, you can really just have multiple designs and have other artists use them if they ever, end up drawing your comic. Or, for instance, like Todd McFarlane, Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, rest in peace. But it's like, you create these characters and they end up having different transitional phases in terms of their design patterns. Same with Alex Ross. These really good artists able to do so much with these specific design for these characters that are iconic, and yet they look so distinct from each other. But they have the aspect in which it's that character, because obviously, Batman with his, ears, and then Superman with his cape and his crescents. So that sort of stuff is what I like about comics too. It's like I'm trying to find a niche for my character so it looks distinct and it doesn't look like, typical character. It's been, like, for my new designs, but compared to, like, Mortal Kombat, really, for some reason, I could see a little bit of it to a certain extent now, so, because, certain aspects, maybe, like, yeah. So, like, I like to hear how people feel about my, designs for, characters that I make, because I want to make them look distinct, but not, like, oh, yeah, I do want to make them look distinct. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Let me explain, basically. So I'm trying to make my characters look distinct. You can tell which one they are. Obviously, you'd be able to if I do okay, so say, for instance, basically, how I do Who's That Pokemon? That says thing about character design. If you can't, tell who the character is by the shadow, basically the shadow cast of the image. So basically, if this were all black, could you tell this is that character? That's kind of like what the point of that is. You break it down to simple shapes and whatnot, depending how realistic you want to get. But if you break it down to realistic shapes too, that's why people want to draw in cartoons and comics and stuff. Because if you draw realistically all the time, it's gonna be hard because they could just look like anybody. Really, it's not a bad thing either. Because realistically, like for instance, Spider-Man. Typically everybody thinks of him as Peter Parker, aka white guy from Queens. I don't mind that, but it's like, you're telling me that nobody specifically other than him can be Spider-Man. The point of, in my opinion, for Spider-Man is basically kind of like what they did with Spawn. And, it's covered from head to toe. It could literally be anybody. That's the thing about it. Because, Superman, even that could be anybody. It's more of like, I guess, specifically because that's the first thing we see, so if we see it enough times, we'll remember it, and we'll view that as that being the only thing. But it's it all matters into interpretation, so you kind of have to at least give understanding that these people are trying to show differentiation in either character or characteristics of a design that someone else made, or, more of how they do characters, too, because that's very important. You don't want it to seem like a carbon copy paste. If you're a writer or an artist, you want to make it seem very dynamic to your style, but not so far off that it makes it look like a whole different character. Because, unless that's what the creator's like, okay, yeah, go ahead and, go wild, whatever. But, you should be able to once they hire you, depending how long you work there and whatnot. But it's more of okay, so for instance, another example would be Blade. One time he was played in the 2000 movie with Wesley Snipes, so he knows the iconic haircut, that sort of stuff for it. And then he ends up going bald in the Ultimate Comics, and people are like, okay, so people are used to the Wesley Snipes one because that was a really good movie back in the day, still is. But it's I thought it was weird that they had him bald and, that sort of thing, but I was like, it makes sense. It's the Ultimate version. It's not going to be the exact same as, say, the Wesley Snipes version. So, it's a person doing the same character with different aspects put into it to show that they are able to take on an iconic character and make it distinct versus the exact same carbon copy as the original. That's what I'm trying to do with my character as well. I want aspects of being a ninja, that sort of thing, kind of like, because they're pretty tactical, if I'm being honest, too. And it's the reason why I like, padding on the biceps and triceps, that sort of thing. And then this is like, it's going to be like actual, like, it looks like it's muscles, but it's like, because if you know some comics, I kind of think it is weird that they do that, but it's like, it kind of makes sense, I guess, to a certain extent. Where it, looks like fabric is literally attached to their skin. But I wouldn't go as far as doing that, in my opinion, because, like, it would look weird, in my opinion. It's just me, though. I mean, it looks great for the artist, but it's like, for me, I want to try something different. Because, like, that's cool. We get it. Super physique is kind of like what they did with the Roman statues and whatnot. They made him look super physique, and it's like, that was the staple of what Roman figures were supposed to look like back in the day, and Greek sculptures basically designed them and whatnot. But it's like, you can't tell me that every single character in your universe has a super athletic build and whatnot, and that sort of thing. Like, there's a lot of things you could do. Like, for instance, this character in My Hero Academia where he could become like, he's basically either really skinny and he's able to rearrange his mass, and so he could become like really, I wouldn't say fat because that seems kind of mean, but like, more of a larger status, not like in height, but like weight specifically. So it's pretty cool, and I think it's like interesting because there's so many things you can do with that. Like, it seems like people of that stature are able to, depending on who you are, sort of thing. I mean, everybody can take a hit, but like, if you get in the fight, I feel like, you kind of have a little bit of an advantage, to be honest, because you're able to absorb more with the amount of mass that you have of your body overall. So I think that's pretty cool what they did with that character too. So there's that too, but like, and not only that, like, it's just cool overall. Like, I can pull a ton of references and that stuff from like different comics and whatnot. I mean, yeah, including like Hellboy, Savage Dragon, maybe Dax. Well, Max. Sorry, MAXX. Yeah, I was thinking ZAC. Yeah, Dax. My bad. But 100% that's how I feel about those characters. Like, they're very interesting in the fact that other artists can take them on while having their own distinct aspect or look to the character and still make it give tribute to the original artist in their own way is really great in my opinion. So there's that. But yeah, if anybody's there, if you can hear me, that'd be great. Just respond and So essentially, I'm gonna finish this sketch-wise for this, shadowing and stuff to get the understanding of this at least. Because I really like doing pencil renderings. Like, for instance, okay, I flipped this book, that I was doing the pages or whatever. I ended up doing on the backside because I was like, not a sketch on the backside or anything, but, So, for instance, like, I got a few headshot designs over here, so it's like, you have a squid guy, but it's like, not a regular, doesn't have a regular squid head, he has kind of like, sharks, that's at their, brow. When you look at their skull, if you were to, basically have the skeleton of a shark, they have the brow, but their bone structure protrudes their brow more outward. Like, say, for instance, a tiger, well, not a tiger shark, hammerhead shark, yeah, that's what I was remembering, yeah. So, hammerhead shark, kind of like how they have this, protruding out more, that sort of thing. That's what I was thinking about, not a regular shark or gorilla shark and nothing like that, but a hammerhead shark, like kind of like that aspect to it. And then you have like octopus, and then you also have like spikes, because it's like, if you're a monster, I think you'd probably want to protect yourself, so there's that to it as well. For instance, I'm also looking at stuff like, I'm going to be looking more into monster lore and stuff, or just in general. I think it'd be pretty dope, because like I have this monster, I don't know, I feel like he might be like a woodland creature or a rock sort of creature, kind of like what they did in the comics back in the day. Villains are usually like have more angular or square shapes, that sort of thing too. That's another thing that I like in comics. They sort of set a standard, but it's like you can even now manipulate that standard, especially with different looking characters and whatnot. Because like not all of them have to be super bulky and that sort of stuff. They could look like good. They could look like how we interpret the guys in comics and whatnot in media and stuff. But it's like they can be manipulative, that sort of thing. Evil, like anti-heroes and stuff. It's like because when you sort of, I guess, set them up for a standard, like, for instance, in the movie Glass, I'm not going to spoil it, they have characters that are like, they kind of blur the line, in my opinion, to a certain extent between good and evil. It's like, there's more to them than just, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. It's like, but, you understand after you watch, say, Unbreakable, and then you continue to Split, and it'll, kind of make sense for all these occurrences in this. It's not just like, oh yeah, this happened, so this is the way it's got to go, because this is basically a comic book movie. It kind of makes a statement on comic book movies, but also like it shows that they understand them and that they're really cool. But it's like kind of like tropes as well. I feel like it's pretty cool, because it's not like everybody watches action movies, but there's just a whole bunch of tropes that everybody just glosses over. It's like in a realistic tone, you really would have to think about those things. Even as a movie, if you want to consider a realistic movie, you'd have to take those into consideration. But that's the thing with films. They really try to make it, exaggerated, but it's like, it makes sense. Because, when you think of exaggeration, like in comics, they have people's bodies protruding like rubber bands, basically, and it's really cool. But it's like, if a human were to do it, it'd be like, we're not used to it, and we think about it, because we see it in media and stuff, like comics and whatnot, and entertainment. But it's like, if you saw someone's body, like, stretch from, like, for instance, my hand, right? If my fingers were to, like, stretch from, here to all the way to the end of my house, it'd look really weird, because my limb shouldn't be able to. Like, you should be able to stretch a little bit further, but not like, so far as if it's in my house, something crazy like that, because that isn't normal. But it's really cool that we can see people do that in comics and entertainment, because it's like, it's sort of an escapism for reality. So there's that as well. And I did these kind of recently, so that was pretty fun. And then, for instance, then I have a few, other headshots where it's like, it's based on the artist, Nicholas Draper Ivy, I believe so. He's a really good artist. I follow him. If you're really into like manga sort of art, African titans, that sort of stuff, really interesting character design and stuff in that aspect, that definitely suggest you follow him. Because he's one of my other favorite artists that I aspire from, in terms of like outfits, fashion, designs for characters and whatnot. It's pretty dope. But it's like, I like that I'm able to mix distinct styles and, actually just have my own style, but it's not like something out of the ordinary that you wouldn't normally see. To a certain extent, I mean, you want to make it look different, of course, but not so different it starts to like, like for instance, like with paintings and stuff, I think it's really cool people are doing, the whole bunch of paint on the canvas or whatever and call that art. But it's like, to me, there's no subject to look at, so it's kind of hard to distinct and, view what the subject is. So it'd be harder for me to critique it and say that this is good art if that's not what I'm interested in too, because it's like, from a subjective standpoint of view in terms of art, you can see like, for instance, if I had to draw like space behind it, you could tell this was a subject, so it's pretty, you could at least say, you see an object that's in front of, in the foreground of something. It's, you could tell a difference, distinct difference between like different objects and stuff. So there's that. And like, Pharrell Williams drew that. And then, And then we have this. I kind of got really interested in Von Art. I got really interested in Von Art stuff. He's another really good artist that I follow. So there's that too. It's like, he's able to do like, it seems like he does a lot of fantasy, a lot of monsters, just characters in general too. It's really dope. Like his pencil work is like really good. So I was kind of looking at his stuff too for inspiration in terms of doing pencil rendering in general, because he's really good at it among various other artists. So it's like really interesting to see what I can do with pencil renderings. So I'm planning on actually doing a piece on a large scale after I finish with, my character, of course. No, it's not it. But yeah, like once I finish with, we find it. Like for instance, once I finish with this, pencil rendering wise, and then I'll probably be able to do other crazy dope stuff with it too. But yeah, like with this piece, basically like what other stuff could I do with this? Especially with pencil rendering, because it's like kind of hard to do if you don't know how to use the medium in general. So it's like, yeah, it's pretty fun overall. But even though I'm not like the best at pencil rendering, but I understand it. I have a better grasp on it now, in my opinion. So there's that. But let me look at something. So like, let me hurry up. I gotta do something real quick. Just some art stuff to film, but yeah, not too big of a deal. Yeah. Like for instance, I'm looking at the samurai art. It's like, for instance, they have samurai shin guards. I'm looking at it for inspiration and stuff. Then you have like really cool stuff. Well, some of these are more like just padding stuff, but it's like kind of inspired by that too, but for sports. So there's that too. But like there's more to it than just like what you typically would be used to. Like, yeah. So like for instance, I kind of took inspiration from like Japanese culture. If you think about it, kind of like the shin guards I have on here for this image. It's kind of like what I did for this, but in my own way. It's not like I kind of got inspired from because once you hit the shoulder, really, it should like cover it because you notice this covers most of his shoulder on his side. So it's like it really depends on what perspective you want to go from. But that's really what I'm trying to go for too. And then you have like the forearm bandages too. So it's like that's pretty dope too. I think so. They have like then you have forearm guards from the bicep to the forearm on both sides. I think that's pretty cool too. Just think about it because typically you punch somebody or something like that. You're punching rarely backwards, but if you're punching forward, you typically have to worry about your knuckles, your forearm, and your bicep, and kind of your shoulder too, depending on which angle you're punching from, that sort of thing too. So he's like kind of like going he's a martial art, but he has to worry about those things too. So it's like there's that as well. So he kind of will able to advance his skills as he goes on in his sort of journey, which I think is pretty dope too. Because you notice they kind of try to start out characters either super overpowered in certain aspects, or they just throw them in there like, oh, okay, we're gonna throw them in there. We're gonna make them, just have these sets of powers. It's like, oh, okay. It's like, but what about like in terms of story, like character? How does it fit with this character? How are we gonna not make it like everybody else's? It ends up being really hard to do due to the fact that you're trying to go into a sort of thing where it's like, either you know what you're doing or you don't, and when you do it, it'll be harder even then. So it's like you'll never really exactly know what you're trying to what you're trying to accomplish. It'll just be harder because there's more people trying to do it as well. So, yeah, that's another thing about it too. Then we'll tell you about that when you get into the business, the entertainment business, whatever you want to do with life. There's more competition than you expect when you start off too. I haven't sold any comics or anything. I haven't done a comic yet. I plan on doing one, but it's like there's so much time and effort you got to put into your skill and craft if you want to make the best of it. And so for me, I like drawing, whatever. It's not like getting paid is nice. It's really nice, but it's like if you don't make quality content, it'll be something that you care about. I feel like it's not worth it. Because once it hits, once you hit that, you're basically like, basically I don't care about anything at that point. Like, at least if you care about it, put in effort 100% or close to it. Especially if you want to make a career out of it. And like other people could tell you whatever they think, but it's like, you're living your life, so it's really like, do whatever you want, but like understand, what it's gonna take to succeed in what you want to do. Is it worth it? So there's that. Sorry if I'm sounding like super preachy about it. It's just how I feel about it though. But that's just me. But yeah, so I hope everybody's having a good break, because snowing for me is pretty ridiculous, but that's how it is where I'm from. So, and yeah, I'm actually doing college right now, so it's kind of like I have to do more school than anything, if I'm being honest. It's like I would wish I could draw all the time, but I really can't. So there's that. And then make it a part-time job, when I get money and stuff, that sort of thing. I'm also going to be trying to get commission, to get more money and stuff in general and whatnot, there's that too. Trying to get more people to buy my art, trying to, get more connections and stuff. Socially with other artists, see, understand their, like, that's who are ahead of me and that sort of thing, where they come from, that sort of thing, how to get where they are, I in general just try to live my best life, if I'm being honest, because it's like I really want to. I feel like I'm taking this seriously, and I'm really gonna try my best to become who I'm meant to be. It's like, all this time spent, I hope it was worth it. I hope it inspired somebody, anybody really, to do their best in something they care about, and that, someone cares about that, right? And just throw them into a lifestyle they don't need to go on, or that they're in, and that they think they can't do better because of what others told them. And to me, that shouldn't matter. What should matter is that you try, and that you try your best, and you actually, trying to help others out. Like, you just don't be like, oh yeah, I made it this far. Yeah, nobody else made it. You can't. I mean, in my opinion, you can't think like that. You shouldn't think like that, because I feel like that's your downfall. Like, cockiness to me is not a good asset for anybody, especially if you're currently or will be successful. Because it's like, yeah, you got to do some things you probably don't want to be successful, but it's like, then for me, it's like, I'd rather be to a certain extent successful, but I wouldn't want to put down people's dreams and hopes in getting there. If anything, I want to help them out to my best ability, which I understand. If anything, I want to help build up people, not destroy them. It's not worth it, in my opinion, because it's like, you say you say you're good or whatever, but it's like, you're a good person, whatever, but it's like, you got to think about it. All these people who are celebrities in general, probably, and famous, they had to do certain things in order to get there. Whether it be good or bad. But it's like, everybody has a bad side, of course. But it's like, how far are you willing to go? And are you willing to, crush other people? And like, what determines what makes you better than them? Because to me, no one's better than anybody. It's just the amount of effort and stuff you put in is what makes you of value. That's just me, though. But I could always be wrong. I mean, it's a matter of opinion, though. But yeah, so I'll try to either finish this or just keep going live right now. I'll figure it out. And then I'm either gonna keep going live or just stop it. I don't know. I'll figure it out. If anybody comments. And thank you for joining my live too, actually. Greatly appreciate it. I won't take anybody for granted either. Because, you don't have to do that. You can be watching a whole bunch of other people's lives regarding whatever else you're entertained by. You decide to come here. So it's like, it's greatly appreciated to see you taking interest in my work and whatnot, what I'm doing. I like to hear your opinions about what certain topics I'm talking about. Like, not all of it has to relate to art, being an artist, but it's like, it's just something to think about, something that I like to talk to other people about, hear your views on them. Like, even if we might not agree, I mean, like, we could at least come to understanding, too. That's another thing. I feel like a lot of people can't get things done because they're all able to swear, oh yeah, does he agree with me? Yeah, nobody really always agrees with everything that the other person says or does. But it's like, what are we getting done, really? I mean, we're wasting time here to a certain extent. But it's like, are we wasting it in a positive effect or negatively? That's my thing about it. But yeah, so I'm going to probably live stream tomorrow, more than likely. Transfer this sketch onto this paper. Kind of like what I did with my previous one. And I might even go live with a new drawing, actually, if anything. So that'll be fun. Probably something I'll be entering in our price when I do that. I was like, you're ready quick enough, so there's that. And then, yep. Yeah, but So that, transfer that to that. See what sketch I'd be doing. Yeah, and I'll be doing one of these concepts. One of these, or something similar to this at least now. Especially, I might do a double page spread or something really cool in the background. Just be like, you know, what I normally do at least, because I want to do something different too. And then, you know, got other stuff I got doing for character sheet for that stuff, you know, yeah. So, you guys want to talk about anything, let me know, you know, hit me up, whatever, that'd be great. And actually, for the Creed 2 piece, this is like the concepts that I had, so, you know, here goes this, there goes kind of like the progress so far on that. I mean, I'm still having that because I'm not worried about school, but I was either going to have, you know, like Rocky and, you know, Apollo, that sort of thing, and then, you know, his mom in the movie and his, you know, girl in the movie, you know, that sort of thing on his side, and then, you know, his dad, you know, Richard Drago's dad on his side, if you haven't seen the movie, basically. And so here goes, well, basically, the concept that I kind of went with so far. You know, Creed is on that side, that sort of thing, and Victor is on that side. I still gotta finish it. I was waiting for to drive for a while. I mean, it's been driving for a while. I just want to figure out how to do his tones before I finish with that part aspect of it. I feel like I got a good handle on, you know, Adonis, aka Michael B. Jordan's character, in terms of tones and stuff. I feel like it's really good. So, yeah, and I thought Creed was a great movie. But in terms of my own stuff, yeah, like what I've been up to art-wise. Let me see. Been doing stuff like this, actually, too. If you guys haven't seen it yet, for those who haven't, at least. Let me just put that paper to the side, but yeah, stuff like this, basically. You know, character design right here, too. That sort of thing. Stuff like that. Move this paper out, I don't need that right now. And then, you know, because the artist for Steve, you know, Ditko died, that sucks, so I'm gonna finish that, kind of try to encapsulate his style with mine to a certain extent. I'm gonna do like a noir sort of thing. I think that'll be really fun to do in general. Plus, I want to get better at my perspective, so I'm gonna add in buildings on, you know, whatever side that I'm gonna do it, and then, you know, probably color this digitally. It's like, you know, so it's kind of where I'm at right now for certain aspects of art. Oh, wait, I got more stuff too, actually. I got some poses in here, a few. And I got, like, you know, sitting pose, shoulder, kind of, you know, her touching her face, one of her just, you know, standing, shoulders, you know, her arms to the back of her head. And I got, like, you know, one her just, you know, throwing up a peace sign, and then one her just sitting over it, sort of thing. I think it's pretty cool. I got some poses. I'm going to add some way more poses. Definitely going to do stuff like this too, like headshots. I think that'll be fun. But yeah, I got this. I'm gonna continue that, hopefully. Stuff like this too. Yeah, so that one. That's really about it, what I got so far. Wait, actually, let me keep going back. So yeah, that's really about it, what I got so far. I got this too. I'm gonna do that digitally. So yeah, thanks for watching though. It's greatly appreciated. You know, let me know what you want to see. That'd be great. Have a good day. Stay safe.